It started with a doorbell ring. No, really. Picture this, a sleek black SUV gliding silently into a quiet Beverly Hills neighborhood. The door opens and out steps Selena Gomez, wrapped in oversized sunglasses and calm resolve. A paparazzi camera clicks from a conveniently parked car across the street, catching the gentle curve of her lips, not a full smile, but something softer, more complicated. In her hands is a gift bag, delicate yet weighted, not just with white roses, but with years of unspoken history. She walks toward the front door of the Bieber residence, not with hesitation, but with intention. The moment feels suspended, like the opening scene of a movie you didn't know you needed to watch. And when the headlines hit, Selena Gomez visits Hailey Bieber to congratulate her on the birth of baby Jack Blues Bieber, the internet practically combusted. Group chats exploded, timelines flooded, and fans were left somewhere between shock and cautious joy. Was it real? A PR stunt? Or had we just witnessed the kind of moment that only happens when life finally outgrows the drama it was once built on? This wasn't just a visit. It was a soft reset of a cultural obsession, a single frame in what might be the final chapter of a decade-long narrative fueled by rivalry, heartbreak, and every emotion in between. But this time, it wasn't about Justin. It was about healing, about choosing peace, about showing up even when no one expected you to. And from that moment, something shifted, not just in their story, but maybe in ours too. Before the roses and the polite smiles, there were years, 10 of them, to be exact, of public tension, whispered rumors, and carefully crafted online personas. The kind of slow-burn feud that didn't need words to stay alive. Passive-aggressive posts, cryptic captions, and a fandom that dissected every move as if decoding a sacred text. At the center of it all was one name, Justin Bieber. Say it out loud and watch the room split, like the internet debating pineapple on pizza. For those unfamiliar with the tabloid saga that spanned an entire generation's coming of age, here's a quick refresher. Justin and Selena were once Hollywood's golden couple, tumultuous, magnetic, and endlessly speculated on. They were on again, off again, and always under a microscope. Then came Hailey Baldwin, now Hailey Bieber, a poised model with a famous last name and a quiet grace that contrasted Selena's raw emotional openness. Justin and Hailey married in 2018, and ever since, the world hasn't stopped comparing them like characters trapped in a script they didn't write. But maybe that's why we cared so much. Because somewhere along the way, this wasn't just celebrity gossip, it became personal. We projected, we took sides. We infused our own heartbreak into theirs. And that's what made the idea of Selena walking up to that door so surreal. Not because it was impossible, but because it felt like the final scene in a story we never thought would find peace. What happens when the villain and the heroine realize they were never enemies to begin with? That's the moment we were witnessing. And no one was ready. June 2025, the sun was high, the skies were clear, and yet the internet felt tense. TMZ dropped the bomb. First, Selena Gomez had been spotted entering the Bieber residence. Not in disguise, not through a back entrance, but plainly, purposefully, like someone who had nothing left to hide. And this wasn't for some fiery confrontation nor secret collab. It was allegedly to offer congratulations. That headline, alone so simple yet so loaded, sent shockwaves through fandoms and gossip circles alike. Because this moment didn't feel performative. It didn't reek of media strategy or hidden motives. It felt like something painfully rare in Hollywood: peace. Not the curated Instagram kind, but the quiet, unscripted kind that comes only after years of therapy, growing pains, and deep personal work. Sources close to both women said the visit lasted longer than expected. And yes, there were smiles, genuine ones. Maybe even a few tears. Selena was said to have held baby Jack, complimented the nursery, safari-themed of course, and congratulated Hailey with sincere warmth. No flashing cameras were allowed inside. No stylists, no entourage, no press releases to follow. Just two women once painted as rivals talking like real people in a private space with a newborn curled between them. And maybe that's what made the world pause. For once, it wasn't about spectacle. It was about softness. It was about showing up not for the timeline, but for the moment. And then there was Jack Blues Bieber, the tiniest yet most powerful character in this entire saga. His name alone became a trending topic, with Blues sparking its own mini mystery across social media. Was it a nod to Justin's love for jazz? A subtle metaphor for the emotional highs and lows this triangle had endured over the past decade? Or maybe, just maybe, it was the universe's way of reminding us that new life often brings new perspective. Because Jack's arrival didn't just signal a milestone for Justin and Hailey, it shifted the entire emotional tone of a cultural obsession. Parenthood, after all, has a way of rearranging your priorities. What once felt worth fighting for suddenly seems small. The grudge you clung to feels heavy. The late-night subtweets, the not-so-subtle shade, the rumors, the tension, it all starts to dissolve when you're cradling a tiny, breathing reminder of what really matters. And by all accounts, Hailey embraced motherhood with a grace that surprised even her critics. Her recent Instagram captions were brief but tender. "He changed everything," she wrote beneath a photo of baby Jack wrapped in a soft cream blanket. And maybe he did. Maybe Jack became the quiet reason two women decided to finally let go of a narrative they never asked for. Because somewhere between the baby truce and the exchanged glances, something cracked open. Not in a dramatic, hammer-ready way, but in that still sacred space where healing actually begins. So how did it even happen? How does someone like Selena Gomez, who spent years being dragged into headlines she didn't write, end up ringing the doorbell of the very house where so much pain had once echoed? The answer, like most real healing, isn't flashy. It didn't come from a press release or some orchestrated PR move. It came from the quiet work, from nights spent journaling, from texts never sent, from crying to old Taylor Swift songs that once hit too close to home. According to sources close to both women, the reunion had been in motion for a while. DMs were exchanged. A few "hey, just checking in" messages were cautiously sent. A mutual friend reportedly floated the idea after Jack's birth, suggesting, "Wouldn't it be nice if..." And slowly, "wouldn't it be nice" turned into "maybe it's time." Selena's decision to visit wasn't just about the baby. It was about reclaiming something for herself. Closure, growth, a quiet rewrite of an ending she never really chose. And as for Hailey, she didn't just accept the moment she welcomed it. No tension, no shade, just open arms and an open heart. It wasn't perfect. It didn't need to be. Because sometimes peace doesn't arrive with confetti or applause, it comes softly, like a door opening to someone you once only knew through pain. And while the visit itself remained private, no leaked footage, no stage photos, the ripple effect it created was anything but quiet. Instagram's comment sections became emotional battlegrounds. On one side, disbelief. This has to be fake. On the other, pure catharsis. Oh my god, my heart, we actually won. Fan pages went into overdrive, digging up old interviews, past tweets, and every subtle moment that now felt like it had been leading to this. Some called it a PR stunt. Others called it divine timing. A tweet that read, "I waited 7 years for this moment. I can finally sleep," racked up hundreds of thousands of likes. Even fellow celebrities couldn't help but weigh in. Taylor Swift liked a fan tweet about women supporting women. Demi Lovato posted a cryptic "love always wins" story that fans immediately connected to the reunion. And then there was Justin, always the wild card. No statement, no comment. Just a single photo of baby Jack's tiny hand cradled in his own, captioned simply "family." That word carried weight. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was quiet, intentional, and in a world obsessed with spectacle, the silence spoke volumes. Maybe we didn't need every detail. Maybe just knowing that two women chose to rise above the noise was enough. So what did they actually talk about behind those closed doors, with no cameras, no publicists, no filters, just real people and raw truth? While no official transcript exists, insiders suggest the conversation was honest, emotional, and surprisingly unguarded. They reportedly spoke about motherhood, how it reshapes your heart, your sleep, your priorities. They shared experiences of living under a microscope, of having their every move dissected by strangers. They reflected on the pressure to perform, forgiveness, the exhaustion of being constantly compared, and the quiet agony of knowing millions of people think they know your story better than you do. Selena allegedly told Hailey how truly happy she was for her, even cracking a soft joke. "Guess this means we really are grown-ups now, huh?" And maybe that was the point. That moment, simple and stripped of performance, revealed something powerful, that they were never truly rivals. They were two women caught in a narrative written by the world, forced into roles they never auditioned for. And now, finally, they were rewriting this script not for headlines, but for themselves. That living room, filled with baby toys and blooming roses, became something unexpected, sacred ground for healing, because this wasn't just a celebrity encounter, it was a mirror. A reflection of how deeply we, as a culture, feed off conflict, especially between women. For years, the Selena-Hailey-Justin triangle wasn't just a tabloid storyline, it was fuel. It sold magazines, spawned endless think pieces, and gave fans something to rally behind or rage against. Every glance, every lyric, every unfollow was magnified, twisted into evidence for whatever narrative people wanted to believe. And while we were busy projecting our own heartbreaks onto them, we forgot that they were human too. The visit didn't just disrupt the storyline, it dismantled it. It said, we're not playing this game anymore. And in doing so, it offered something we rarely see in pop culture: resolution. No dramatic speech, no viral shade, no cryptic tweets, just two women choosing to stop the cycle. In a world that thrives on tension, that moment of peace was revolutionary. It reminded us that healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like a quiet conversation in a nursery. Sometimes it sounds like laughter between two people who finally see each other clearly. And maybe, just maybe, it feels like letting go of a story that never belonged to you in the first place. So what does that moment mean for the rest of us, the ones watching from behind our screens, scrolling past yet another viral headline? Maybe more than we realize. Because if two women, once endlessly pitted against each other by fans, media, and circumstance, can choose peace over pettiness, maybe we can too. Maybe it's a reminder that grudges don't have to last forever. But the people we once resented might not have been our enemies, just characters in a version of the story we told ourselves to cope. Whether you've had a friendship fall apart, endured a messy breakup, or just carried around silent resentment for too long, there's something powerful in witnessing this kind of quiet reconciliation. Selena showing up wasn't about Justin. It wasn't about winning or proving a point. It was about choosing maturity, choosing grace, choosing to be the bigger person, not for applause, but because it feels right. And Hailey? She didn't meet it with walls or suspicion. She opened the door. Sometimes healing doesn't arrive. With fanfare, it walks in slowly, holding roses, and asks to start over. And when that happens, maybe we should all pay attention. Because moments like these aren't just celebrity gossip, they're blueprints for something better. The door opened, they hugged. The baby let out a soft little coo. And just like that, a decade of tension began to dissolve, not erased, but reframed. That hug wasn't just symbolic, it was seismic. It didn't fix the past, but it softened it. It didn't erase the internet's memory, but it offered a different ending, one rooted in growth, not grudges. This wasn't the conclusion fans expected. No dramatic fallout, no viral takedown, no secret feud bubbling beneath the surface. Just two women, finally done with being avatars in a battle that was never really theirs. And that's what made it so powerful. In a culture addicted to conflict, to sides, to the thrill of watching someone lose, this moment offered something far more radical: mutual grace. It was Hailey and Selena saying, "You don't get to write our story anymore." And by doing that, they handed the pen back to themselves. Maybe they didn't rewrite the past, but they definitely rewrote the ending. And in doing so, they reminded all of us that peace doesn't always come when you expect it. Sometimes it arrives quietly, through a simple act of showing up, looking your past in the eye, and choosing to move forward anyway. So here we are days later, still thinking about it, still replaying that headline, still feeling something we didn't expect: hope. Because beneath all the gossip, all the drama, all the years of speculation and side-taking, this wasn't just about Selena and Hailey. It was about us. About the parts of ourselves we see in these stories, the jealousy, the heartbreak, the comparison, the healing. It was about the idea that maybe people can grow. That maybe the person you thought you'd never forgive doesn't need to be your enemy forever. That maybe we've all been trapped in someone else's version of our story, and it's okay to step out of it. This moment between two women who were never meant to be enemies is now something more: a cultural checkpoint. A reminder that growth is possible, that forgiveness is a choice, that peace doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. And maybe, just maybe, there's a part of your own life that's ready for its own rewrite. Maybe it starts with a message, a conversation, or just letting go. Because behind every viral moment, every trending topic, every celebrity headline, there's a very human truth. And whether we realize it or not, we're all living our own version of it. So the question now isn't what happened between Selena and Hailey, it's what happens next for the rest of us. Because moments like these do more than entertain us. They shift something deeper. They make us pause, reflect, and wonder about the stories we've clung to in our own lives. Who have we been holding a grudge against? What narratives have we let define us for too long? What version of ourselves are we still trying to protect, even if it's already outgrown its purpose? The beauty of this story isn't just in the reconciliation, it's in what it represents. That healing doesn't always come in grand declarations or viral announcements. Sometimes it's a quiet visit, a soft hug, a shared smile in a nursery filled with baby laughter. Sometimes it's finally realizing that peace doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means accepting it, learning from it, and choosing to live differently because of it. Selena and Hailey didn't just close a chapter, they turned the page, and now maybe it's our turn too. To put the past down gently, to stop replaying the same old wounds. To let something new begin, not for show, not for likes, but for ourselves. Because healing, real healing, is contagious. And maybe this moment was just the reminder we all needed.